Chapter 51 Xiao Rongyu's Crisis. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The ruins of Yin ruins, Yi Chen is also here, but at this moment, he suddenly felt empty and lost in his heart, as if he had lost some great fortune, an opportunity that could change the trajectory of his life. This feeling made him very uncomfortable. He murmured in confusion, "What happened?" Yin ruins, Xiao Rongyu was also among them. She belongs to the earliest batch. The emergence of the Yin ruins alarmed all the major forces in the eastern region. The sect masters of the 6 holy places even came to the ruins in person. They came to the ruins immediately and joined forces with the Nangong family and Jiang family heads to open the dusty ruins and tear them apart. A gap opened, and several peak figures broke in directly, then they dispersed. Seek your own opportunities. Under heavy fog, Xiao Rongyu was dressed in a bright red robe, with picturesque eyebrows and a bit of cinnabar on the center of his eyebrows. He was walking in the hazy fog and heard strange sounds of iron armor around him. Not long after, he saw a pair of empty patrols. Soldiers, wearing black armor and holding long guns, came straight towards them. "Can't hide," Xiao Rongyu sighed softly. As long as these soldiers didn't meet head-on, they would be fine. However, this group of soldiers had been following him for a long time, and it was impossible to hide. Call, a wave of sleeves, a trend swept through, all the soldiers disappeared into thin air. The second wave, Xiao Rongyu murmured that the first wave she encountered was just a prince-level puppet, while the second wave was already a venerable state. She silently thought that she could not stay here for long, and her figure quickly disappeared here in a flash, killing those illusory armored soldiers. Although there was no gain, it also allowed her to see the light of day. As it approached, it showed that she was close to the imperial city, or she was now in the imperial city. Close your eyes. Thinking silently, distributed by region, the Yin dynasty was divided into several regions. Medicine Pavilion, all kinds of magical medicines specially cultivated for the royal family's practice are the most precious here. Not only because the Yin dynasty has dominated the eastern region for many years and has cultivated countless magical medicines, but also because of the hundreds of years of silence, even seedlings have grown into precious magical medicines. It's a worthwhile trip to pick one. Shenbing Pavilion, this is the second important area. The Yin dynasty has overlooked the eastern territory for many years, and several saints have sat in the area. Countless magic weapons have been born. And with the royal family's collection, there must be many magic weapons that can destroy the Yin dynasty overnight. The mighty might look down upon these weapons, but to them they are treasures. No one would dislike having too many magic weapons, especially the sect of Nuada. The more the merrier. Baoku Pavilion, this is the third important town. Although it is different from the Medicine Pavilion and the Shenbing Pavilion, all the heritage of the Yin dynasty is gathered here. Whether it is the tribute of the princes or the harvest of the Emperor Yin, there are countless types of treasures. Hidden inside, even the country's sacred weapon, Guizhen sword, may be hidden in it. Array Pavilion, this is an important area around the world. The strength of the Yin dynasty back then was not only due to cultivation, but also formations, talismans, and talisman papers that were almost lost in the eastern region. There were even talisman papers that only saints could refine. The Yin dynasty had them. Even if you come up empty-handed, you can still make a lot of money by collecting some materials. Tibetan Scripture Pavilion, this is the fifth area. It seems precious but is not that precious. It is impossible for real saints' books to be stored in the Sutra Pavilion, and the books of the human emperor realm are not lacking in the 6 major powers. In normal times, it is located in a treasure area, but compared with the previous ones, it is much inferior. In addition to these things, the Yin dynasty also has other treasures, such as the Great Phoenix Sutra inherited by the country, and a mysterious inheritance. It is said that the Yin dynasty fell because of it. Xiao Rongyu closed his eyes and just thought for a moment before opening them, resolutely walked towards the Sutra Pavilion, and murmured, "Sutras from the Sutra Pavilion." Elder Chu studies the scriptures every day. The scriptures of Edomlin's sect cannot last for long. It just so happens that the Yin dynasty has dominated the eastern region for many years. Profound foundation. Countless inheritances. If he finds the scripture storage pavilion and brings back a large number of scriptures, he will definitely be very happy. This cold peerless woman's eyes exuded the purity and ignorance of a girl, without any coldness in front of outsiders. Keep going, encountered several twists and turns, still arrived at the Tibetan scripture pavilion smoothly. Looking from a distance, a simple and grey stone building stands there. Because no one has repaired it for many years, the sutra building has lost its color of carved dragons and painted phoenixes. It stands empty in the wind. Under the dim sky, it looks more like a demon suppression tower. Sutra Tiding Pavilion. A plaque hangs on the Sutra Pavilion, and the breath of the saint still remains. If the mind invades and looks at it, there will be a surge of sharpness. This was the seal carved by the saint himself at that time, leaving traces of the holy way. It is not only a deterrent but also a part of the understanding. Wisp of holy power. Intact, Xiao Rongyu's beautiful eyes were filled with joy. Judging from the appearance of the Jing Pavilion, no one had ransacked it, but she didn't know what was going on inside. She moved forward with a light step. Buzz, not far away, a magnificent formation suddenly lit up, trapping him in the center. Formation, there was solemnity on Xiao Rongyu's face, and he was slightly relieved after thinking about it carefully. The Yin dynasty has been buried for hundreds of years, and even the formations have become weak, and no one has replenished the energy. This is a blessing, otherwise the formations in its heyday would have been won. A face-to-face meeting is enough to kill me, but I won't be wasted much time now. She sat cross-legged, quietly in the void, feeling every pattern of the formations around her. As the head of the Donglin sect, she also had some experience with the formations. Although it was troublesome to solve, she was not without ideas. However, in the Sutra Library, there was a pair of evil and surprised pupils, as if someone unexpectedly found this place, but there was a fiery excitement, as if the demon who had been imprisoned for many years had encountered blood food, and the greed revealed made him swallow his saliva unconsciously. Chapter 52. Everyone is calling for his death. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiao Rongyu frowned slightly after deciphering the formation, and a pair of phoenix eyes aroused some doubts. While comprehending the formation, he vaguely felt that there were greedy and evil eyes peeping in the scripture pavilion. This struck her as absurd. The Yin dynasty has been destroyed for hundreds of years, and no one can live in it for such a long time, unless they are saints, and if there are still saints alive in the Yin dynasty, it is impossible for them to be out of seclusion now. Illusion. You must be overthinking it, Xiao Rongyu murmured and slowly closed his eyes again, concentrating on comprehending the formation. Most of the day later, ripples washed away from her body one after another, and the formation that trapped her gradually disintegrated. When the last rune formation also dissipated, Xiao Rongyu did not rush to enter the scripture pavilion, but paused for a moment before stepping in. It's dark, damp, and covered with cobwebs. No one has been to the pavilion for hundreds of years. The interior of the pavilion is already full of decay, but the bookshelves are arranged neatly, with books one after another. There was a table and chair at the entrance of the Sutra Pavilion, and a pair of withered bones lay motionless there. It was obvious that the disaster occurred too quickly and fell there without even being able to react. Pity, Xiao Rongyu sighed secretly, but he also looked at the scriptures on the shelf. Beautiful eyes contain a gleam of energy and joy. Even if I thought that no big shot in the Yin dynasty would fall in love with this technique, I still felt a burst of joy when I was really sure. The bottom part was intact, and even if there were deviations on the top, it wouldn't be too much. Jie. Little girl, but suddenly a ghost bone claw came out from behind Xiao Rongyu, so fast and fierce that there was almost no time for anyone to react, but there was a self-defense jade talisman on Xiao Rongyu's body that was directly crushed into pieces. In an instant, a protective light shield enveloped her, and the ghost bone claw slapped on it just knocked her away. Sure enough, there is someone. Xiao Rongyu's pupils shrank. When he was trying to decipher the formation outside the pavilion, he felt the evil gaze. He thought it was an illusion, but he was always vigilant. He didn't expect to be attacked as soon as he entered. Donglin Zong Talisman. What is your relationship with Donglin sect? In the dark scripture pavilion, a strange shadow was reflected on the wall, revealing a strange smiling face. As the shadow peeled off, the illusory figure emerged in the air, with evil eyes filled with curiosity. He looked up and down Xiao Rongyu's delicate face, pursed his lips, and said greedily, "I have been forced here for hundreds of years, and I haven't tasted blood for a long time. Especially for such a delicate little girl, she can still feel so good. It's really good luck." Demon Cult. A member of the demon clan, Xiao Rongyu recognized the identity of this strange figure almost instantly, and his pupils suddenly shrank. He never thought that the demon who disappeared in the eastern region would reappear in the world, and also appear in the Yin ruins. Jie. It seems that they only recognize me as a member of the demon cult, but have not yet recognized my identity. It doesn't hurt to tell you that my title when I was away was Blue Bull Demon Lord. Boom! Xiao Rongyu's heart suddenly trembled. How could she not know this name? In other words, everyone in the 6 Holy Lands didn't know it. In the Demon Extermination Conference back then, the Green Bull Demon Lord was destroyed. Saints from various forces joined forces to encircle and suppress him. Unexpectedly, not only did he instead of dying, he sneaked into the Yin ruins to avoid disaster. Jie. Little girl. You haven't told me what your relationship is with the Donglin sect. The Green Bull Demon Lord had greed on his face, but more excitement. He was seriously injured and hid in the Yin ruins and fell into a deep sleep. When he woke up, he was banned and hidden. In the Jing Pavilion, as the formation weakened little by little, he finally had a chance to stand out, and delicious blood food was delivered directly to his door, and she is still a little girl in the 5th realm of the human emperor, very satisfying. If the cultivation level is too strong, it will be difficult to fight with its current weak body. If it is too weak, eating it will not make up for much energy and blood. On the contrary, the 5th level of the human emperor can just restore some energy and blood, and can be easily manipulated, with a leisurely look. Not worried at all that this little girl can escape from his hands. Forbidden technique. Phoenix body. Xiao Rongyu looked solemn, directly burning her life essence and blood, and gaining powerful cultivation skills in turn. She had only used it twice in her life, once in front of the Donglin sect because she was worried about Elder Chu's safety, and the other time is now. Boom! Cultivation exploded, the 6 realms of the human emperor, the 7 realms of the human emperor, the 8 realms of the human emperor, the 9 realms of the human emperor. The peak of the 9 realms of the human emperor, in just an instant, her cultivation level rose directly from the humble human emperor level to the peak of the human emperor level. This made the sworn Green Bull Demon Lord stunned for a moment, and he didn't even have time to stop her. Boom! After breaking through the 9th realm of human emperor cultivation, Xiao Rongyu slashed with his sword, not at the Green Bull Demon Lord but towards the outside world, erupting into a blazing wave of flames, sweeping in flames, and dispersing the heavy fog. Not far away, the leader of Tianji sect, the leader of the Immortal sect, the leader of the Xianxia sect, these people frowned slightly, glanced at this place, and said secretly, Xiao Rongyu of Donglin sect has such a powerful cultivation level. Who forced her to do this? Yinxu. There are demons. Xiao Rongyu's roaring voice turned into sound waves and completely exploded. Boom! Jinwu's sect master Lu Nanshan's pupils shrank, and the first thought in his mind was to stop the flow. The next second, almost out of instinct, he turned into a stream of light and ran towards the scripture pavilion, not caring whether he would provoke the great terror of Yinxu, Jiang Chen, the head of the Jiang family, Chu Yao, the leader of the goddess sect, the head of the Nangong clan, the leader of the Xianxia sect, the leader of the Tianji sect. The leaders of the 6 holy places and the 2 ancient families almost instantly turned into streams of light and rushed over. The word demon clan was quite harsh in the ears of the top forces in the eastern region. It was an existence that everyone wanted to kill. No matter what the 2 sects had, they would exchange the demon clan in the case of demon clan. The demon clan should be killed first. This was the consensus of the eastern region, and no one dared to violate it. Even though the demon clan had disappeared from the eastern region for many years, some demons would come out from time to time to wreak havoc, and in remote areas, they would sacrifice a city or a country with blood. The leaders of these forces had arrived at the disaster area afterwards and hated and disgusted it. Boom boom boom. Swish swish swish, almost in the blink of an eye, several powerful people descended like the sun. Chapter 53. A toad wants to eat swan meat. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boom, before anyone arrives, the sound has already come. Lu Nantian, the leader of the Zhenwu sect, is still far away, but his palm prints have already fallen. He is using a Buddhist palm technique, the Great Sun Tathagata palm. As soon as he activates it, the sky is filled with bright golden light, dispersing the hazy gray fog. Boom, the green ox demon lord staggered as his body was hit by this palm. Snort, a scolding sound. Chu Yao, the leader of the goddess sect, also rushed here, moving her slender white feet lightly, as lotus flowers bloomed, and when she raised her hand, bursts of lotus flowers came down to suppress her. It should not be underestimated. Each of these lotus petals contains terrifying energy. It seems to have the ability to destroy the world and destroy the world. It is difficult for even the top human emperors to resist it. The demons are so miserable and should not appear in the eastern region again. The leader of the Tianji sect was wearing a blue and white Taoist robe. He held a fly whisk and waved it down gently. Thousands of dust threads turned into sharp sword energy. Next moment, Qinyu, the leader of the immortal sect, also came, but the latter's eyes were very cold, and he was also targeting Xiao Rongyu for the demon. The Donglin sect had a deep hatred for him, so normally it would be impossible for him to help, but the demon now, if you have any grudges, you can only step back a little. The domineering golden spear spits out endless sharpness and kills directly. TSK. This surprised the head of the Jiang family who had just arrived, and muttered, in terms of close combat, Master Qin of the immortal sect is more powerful. How can ordinary people withstand such a domineering spear intention? But that being said, or take action to suppress it. Rumble. Dong dong dong. Bang bang bang. Sonorous. TSK. Everyone was dumbfounded by the Green Bull Demon King. Earlier, when I saw the delicate little girl in the red robe, she was both coveted and excited, thinking that there was no way she could escape from her hands, even if she had been suppressed for hundreds of years and was so weak that she suddenly exploded into the human emperor. With the strength at the peak of the 9 realms, he slashed down with one sword and called out his colleagues. In an instant, one after another figures came domineeringly, no explanation, killed directly. Puff, when the first figure came this way, it didn't take it seriously, with contemptuous eyes. Although the cultivation of the 9th realm of the human emperor was not weak, facing him was a dead end. No idea. Second person, third person, the fourth person. In the blink of an eye, a total of 8 figures arrived. Xiao Rongyu, who was the weakest earlier, also used the forbidden technique to forcibly ascend to the peak of the 9th realm of the human emperor. For a time, the 9 strong men at the peak of the human emperor stared at him and surrounded the Sutra Pavilion, senseless. The Green Bull Demon Lord was really confused, thought, during the hundreds of years of seclusion, has something big happened in the Eastern Territory? The 9 realms of the human emperor are no longer so unattainable. It remembers the years when it traveled across the Eastern Territory. The 9 realms of the human emperor are enough to be the master of the Holy Land. The sect is among the top ranks in the Eastern region. Who knows how many of them will come in an instant. Swish, swish, swish. The 8 people took off one after another, each of them frowning and showing solemnity. Just now, the 8 of them had been killed in succession. If any one of them had died, even a half-saint cultivator would be robbed, but the weak one, the devil, just coughed up blood and was slightly injured, which made them shocked and troubled. Green Bull Demon Lord. Xiao Rongyu told its origin. The pupils of several controllers of major forces shrank. They thought about who this person was. He sacrificed blood to the eastern region hundreds of years ago and caused heinous sins. Even the saints joined forces to encircle and suppress him before they were killed. Who would have thought that this person could actually be not dead, but impressed here, looking at each other with fear but anger, more of a blessing, if they hadn't taken the lead and arrived at the ruins of the Yin dynasty. breaking in with the geniuses of the younger generation, and giving him blood and food, not only would all the younger generation in the eastern region have died, but there would also be another generation in the eastern region. Chaos. It is very weak and can be killed. The Nangong clan leader's eyes flashed coldly. They did not dare to provoke the peak green bull demon lord, but this weak one only had a layer of skin and a shadow left. How could they not dare to kill him? Kill! Xiao Rongyu swung out his sword, and the brilliant sword energy turned into a dazzling phoenix, with blazing heat. This made the shadow of the green bull demon lord show a look of pain. Compared with others, this girl's brilliant sword energy gave it the threat was even greater, especially the blazing wave of fire, which seemed to burn him into nothingness. Jiji. It's up to you. I also want to kill me. That the thick black mist spread and shrouded, and the figure of the green bull demon lord was hidden in it. Even if it was wounded and had a strong nature, it would never show it. Suppress and kill. Kill! In an instant, the 8 peak experts were killed sparsely. Boom! In the blink of an eye, the discolored Sutra Pavilion suddenly sank 10 feet, and the ground was forced to sink. Fortunately, this is the old capital of the Yin dynasty. Even if it has been buried for many years, there is still the blessing of the formation that will not cause any damage. Greater destruction. At the same time, I am also glad that there is a formation in the Sutra Pavilion, which can still stand safely even in the aftermath of this turbulent wave, but it is sinking inch by inch, being blown away like a lonely boat under the waves. There are already many young geniuses in the ruins of the Yin dynasty. They all sensed the huge movement, and figures quickly moved towards here. With curiosity, they secretly said, "What a strong wave of fighting." Hiss. So many people fighting. Is that the leader of Donglin sect? A young genius from the East region saw the female leader in a red robe, swinging a sword with her right hand and pinching a seal with her left hand. Her explosive cultivation was comparable to that of other leaders, which made them dumbfounded. They were also secretly shocked and said, "The leader of Donglin sect is so strong that she can compete with other leaders. She is really well hidden." The one with a graceful figure, a curvy body, and slender feet that leave lotus flowers every time she lands must be Chu Xun from the goddess sect. These delicate and white feet are really amazing. I love them, love them. Swoosh. Jiang Ju of the Jiang clan also came to inquire about the situation. Seeing the fierce battle from afar, he secretly said with a trembling heart, "The 6 sect leaders are here, and the heads of the 2 ancient families are fighting here. Did they encounter some treasure?" The saint of the goddess clan also came. Her beautiful eyes flashed with worry for her master, and more of a burning desire. She looked at the Sutra Library and knew that the problem came from there. She wanted to go there, but the waves that kept spreading in the black fog made her heart tremble. It was a venerable realm that would kill anyone who touched it, so she didn't dare to go there at all. Swoosh! Silently, a figure approached here secretly, and entered the Sutra Pavilion without anyone noticing. Then, he struggled in pain. Yichen gritted his teeth and said, "It hurts so much. Even with your protection, I feel like my whole body is falling apart." An old voice came from Yichen's body, cunningly and sinisterly. "The group of people in power in the East region are fighting each other. They must have encountered something extraordinary. It's either the Great Phoenix Sutra or the Sword of the State of the Yin dynasty. But it's difficult for these two to cause them to fight like this. I feel that it might be that thing." "What?" Yichen shuddered suddenly, his pupils shrank slightly, he vaguely thought of something. "Master, are you referring to the source of the Yin dynasty's demise?" "Yes." Yichen's breathing was rapid. He had heard from his master before he came in that the Yin dynasty might be hiding something extraordinary, and the Yin dynasty was destroyed because of it. That was something that even saints could not keep. If that was the case, inside the ring, a weak soul shrouded in demonic energy spat with disdain when seeing Yichen's foolish and lustful face. He was like a toad wanting to eat swan flesh. He dared to think about anything. "Even if you really get that thing, are you worthy of touching it? Chapter 54, Stealing a Chicken but Losing the Rice. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Thinking that he had recovered a lot now, and with Yi Chen's continuous support in Xiandao sect, he already had a lot of strength, and could plan to directly replace Yi Chen and take that thing for himself, he also said, young people should not be too ambitious. Whether that thing is there is still a question. Go upstairs and take a look first. I will cover your breath for you, and you will not be discovered in a short time. Thank you, teacher, that Yi Chen said excitedly, fishing in troubled waters, picking up leaks, stealing treasures, these are what he is good at, especially being a fisherman. Under the guidance of the ring teacher, he has already reached perfection, and almost quietly ran to the 6th floor. Boom, a violent roar, the 6th floor trembled strongly, a real figure fell into the Sutra Pavilion from the outside world, or it would be more appropriate to say that he was beaten into the Sutra Pavilion. The face of the green bull demon venerable was full of pain, and there was endless grief and indignation. It was a great demon king who had been roaming the eastern region for many years. Even the saints could not kill him together. Could it be that he would fall here and be killed by a few younger generations? This made him feel humiliated. If he had a little more time, he could have replenished his blood and chi even if he was at the level of a venerable by devouring a few people, and fought to the death with that group of people. But he was too weak, he was seriously injured hundreds of years ago, and hid in the ruins of Yin to sleep and heal his wounds. He closed his eyes for hundreds of years. He thought he would regain his power when he revived again, but who would have thought that he would be killed after being hit hard, despair, angry, unwilling, and he was also showing his vicious side. Gulong, that Yi Chen also stood there like a wooden chicken, his head was buzzing, and he couldn't understand why he just came here to pick up the spoils, but he ran into the real owner before he even went upstairs. That the green bull demon lord was also stunned, raised his head and looked at each other. The expressions of both sides were particularly wonderful, greedy killing thoughts rose from the bottom of their hearts, accompanied by strong palpitations and horror, which made the green bull demon lord very excited. Just a moment ago, he actually felt the threat of the strongest. This was nothing in normal times, but if he was hurt again at this critical moment, he would be dead. Is it an illusion? That it stared at Yi Chen, a venerable realm. Somehow he slipped into the Sutra Library. With such cultivation, even now, he could kill a bunch of people with a slap, but just now he clearly felt palpitations, gritted his teeth and looked at the outside world, and knew that he had no time to think, and said angrily, "Stinky boy, you are lucky." Swish, that the green bull demon lord abandoned his body, transformed into a soul, pounced into Yi Chen's body, temporarily possessed. At the last moment, it still chose to believe in its intuition. It had despised Xiao Rongyu earlier but was tricked, resulting in being besieged by the 8 powerful men. Now if it fell on this little guy again, it would be dead. Besides, it said that it could kill them at will after absorbing the little guy's blood and chi, but it was not worth it. It was not easy to escape the siege. As long as it returns to the east region, find his own magic cauldron, easily recover to the peak. By then, these powerful people in the 9th realm of the human emperor will be crushed to death like ants, so it is not worth fighting them to death. It is this change of thought that caused the green bull demon lord to attach to his body. Zhenwu sect leader Lu Nantian frowned and stood in the air with a slight breath. The resistance of the green bull demon lord was beyond his expectation, so that he suffered injuries in the melee just now. Not only him, the whisk in the hand of the Tianji sect leader was blown up to the point of bald hair, and the blue and white Taoist robe was stained with his own blood, and his vicissitudes of life were full of fatigue. The leader of the goddess sect Chu Yaoyao also couldn't hide his fatigue. Everyone suffered a lot of injuries in the fierce fight. With determination in her beautiful eyes, she said, "It won't last long. One more round will kill it." Several people nodded, slight breath, healing his own injuries, at the same time, preparing for the next attack. Crack! Swoosh! A figure suddenly rushed out of the exit of the Sutra Library. Jiang Chen of the Jiang family sneered and said, "It seems that the green bull demon lord will be doomed here." Bang! He possessed and killed the pupils of Qin Yu, the leader of the Xiandao sect, suddenly shrank. Looking at the familiar back, the golden spear in his hand almost instinctively intercepted horizontally and blocked in front of Jiang Chen. "What are you doing?" Jiang Chen was furious. The leader of the Tianji sect, the leader of the Shen sect, the leader of the Donglin sect, the pupils of these people suddenly became cold. "That's my Xiandao sect disciple," Qin said in a muffled voice, and there was also anger rising in his heart. If an ordinary disciple died, it would be dead, but he knew this Yi Chen. He was a natural talent. The saints had been optimistic about him and said that he was the future pillar of the Xiandao sect and he couldn't die here. That Yi Chen's body emitted strange laughter. The Blue Bull Demon Lord seemed to be talking to Yi Chen. "I didn't expect that you, a little guy, had such a background. It seems that the backup plan left behind doesn't need to be used. Thank you very much." Pop, Yi Chen's face turned pale and listless in an instant. A large part of his blood and qi was drained out, and a dark stream of light rushed quickly and instantly sank into the bodies of other Tianjiao who were still watching the battle not far away. Buzz buzz buzz, it possessed several people in a row. Even the masters of the 6 holy places were overwhelmed and difficult to lock. Then a long rainbow turned into a stream of light and disappeared in the sight of several people. For a while, the scene was extremely depressing, and unspeakable anger accumulated in everyone's hearts, and they all looked at immortal sect Qin Yu and Yi Chen indifferently. If it weren't for this guy, the Green Bull Demon Lord would have died. It's too late to say anything now. Let him run away. The leader of the Xianxia sect, Dai Na, also looked ugly. They knew how difficult the Green Bull Demon Lord was, and they couldn't kill him even if they joined forces. If they let him escape into the eastern region and perform a blood sacrifice, returning to the peak may lead to another disaster. Hateful, several people stared at Yi Chen coldly. If it weren't for this junior's silent intrusion into the Sutra Pavilion, where did the nonsense come from? Even the immortal sect Qin Yu didn't stop him and allowed Jiang Chen to suppress the latter. The Green Bull Demon Yu couldn't escape either, so in such a moment of loss of concentration, the Green Bull Demon Lord slipped away. Yi Chen also woke up from his trance, his face was horribly pale, and his body felt as if it had been hollowed out. A large amount of energy and blood disappeared, and he also felt that there was a demonic energy left in his body, which was corroding the body all the time. He made a difficult voice, and saw that several powerful sect leaders in the eastern region were looking down at him coldly. Even his own sect leader Qin Yu was looking down on him ruthlessly. I am afraid that at this time, Qin Yu, the immortal sect, did not know that old monster Xiao died because of him, otherwise I'm afraid that if I get extremely angry, I will slap this kid to death. Chapter 55 Jiang Chen's Luck Advances. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It's come to this. Let's think of a solution. Qin Yu, the leader of the Xiandao sect, put away the golden spear in his hand. He stood there coldly, also stained with blood, and it was clear that he was not prepared to give an explanation for the matter. The leader of the Xianxia sect was furious and asked, Master Qin, if you hadn't stopped him, Elder Zhang's killing of this man would have forced out the Blue Bull Demon Lord, and there would still be hope of killing him. Shouldn't you be responsible for this? The leader of the Xiandao sect, Qin Yu, said coldly, this man is a disciple of the Xiandao sect and shouldn't have fallen under an unexpected disaster. What's more, didn't the Blue Bull Demon Lord say that he had a backup plan before he left, and even if the head of the Jiang family forcibly killed him, he might not have kept him alive? You are making up stories. But let's talk about the facts. Seeing that the two sides were about to quarrel, the leader of the Tianji sect also frowned. He was also very angry. A great opportunity was missed because of this kid. If he forcibly killed the Blue Bull Demon Lord, even if he couldn't kill him this time, he could keep him quiet for a while, giving the East region a chance to breathe. Now it's good, I'm afraid the East region is going to be in trouble. Tianji sect disciples, follow me back to the sect. The Tianji sect leader looked at Yi Chen with disgust and said coldly, asking the Tianji sect disciples around to gather quickly, each with a blank look in their eyes. Leaving now? Just came in. Haven't started exploring opportunities yet. The pretty face of Chu Yaoyao, the leader of the goddess sect, was also filled with paleness and weakness, saying, "Where are the disciples of the goddess sect? Follow me back to the sect." The head of the Nangong clan also said coldly, "Nangong clan members, follow me back to the clan. Things have come to this point, the Green Bull Demon Lord has escaped, the ruins of the Yin dynasty are no longer an opportunity, but a huge danger. No one knows where the Green Bull Demon Lord will jump out from to attack. The 8 of them cannot kill each other even if they join forces. Now they have fled into this chaotic place, secretly spying and attacking, and no one can withstand it. Besides, this trip was not without gain. In addition to the most precious to Huang Jing and Zhengguojian of the Yin dynasty and the illusory mysterious inheritance, other things were gained, so it would not be a loss even if they left." Swish. Swish. Several sect leaders chose to leave with a group of people around them. "Master Xiao, do you want me to escort you?" Jiang Chen exhaled and came to Xiao Rongyu. He knew that the latter had just used a forbidden technique to burn his blood. Once the time limit of the forbidden technique was up, he would fall into unprecedented weakness. "It's okay. I can still hold on for a while. Master Jiang, please be careful on the road." Xiao Rongyu forced a smile, his red robe became more vivid because of the blood, and his voice was still cold. "Donglin sect disciples, follow me back to the sect." Jiang Zhenshan nodded gently, and no longer forced it. As long as there was a human emperor outside the Yin dynasty to pick him up, he would be fine when he returned to Donglin sect. After nodding, he also looked at the children of the Jiang family who had already gathered, led by Jiang Ju. With a flick of his sleeve, a ball of light enveloped everyone and they stepped straight into the outside world. Puff. Xiao Rongyu, who was standing alone in front of the Sutra Library, spurted out thick blood, and his face became paler and paler. He had already used a huge amount of forbidden techniques, and was targeted by the Green Bull Demon Lord. He burned his blood crazily and now felt that his life essence was rapidly fading. Every minute and every second he stayed there would be a huge price and pain. Swoosh. However, at this time, she still rushed into the Sutra Library. Her weak eyes were full of determination, but when she came to the 8th floor of the Sutra Library and saw the old books placed there, her pale cheeks smiled brightly, showing a beautiful smile. "Master." The disciples of Donglin sect were worried and nervous. Now they also understood the cause and effect. What made them more worried was that the other major masters avoided the Sutra Library like snakes and scorpions, worried that there would be changes inside, but their master rushed in without hesitation, stamped his feet nervously outside, but did not dare to take a step inside. Swoosh. The wide sleeves waved, collecting the sparse scriptures of the Yin dynasty, and looked up at the 9th floor of the Sutra Library. After a little hesitation, Xiao Rongyu still retreated. "Perhaps there are saint scriptures on the upper floor, but it's too dangerous." The 9th floor of the Donglin sect Sutra Library was filled with murderous intent. The Yin dynasty was probably not much worse. There was a little disappointment in his eyes, and he murmured, "If I survive this disaster, I will definitely come back to take these scriptures for you." Swish. As the Donglin sect withdrew, the ruins of the Yin dynasty fell into a brief silence, but a low and painful groan came from a place. It was not someone else, but Yi Chen. He did not choose to leave with Qinyu, the leader of the Xiandao sect, but stayed here to seek opportunities. Even if there was a terrible demon hidden in it, he could not care so much. After experiencing this incident, the leader Qinyu had a grudge against him. If he knew that the outside world had killed Zhao Leiguai because of him, he would probably kill him in anger. He. Little guy. You're really lucky. The teacher in the ring was surprised. The Green Bull Demon Lord possessed him. Although he drained some of his blood and chi before leaving, he also left waves of demonic energy. He originally intended to let the demonic energy invade his body and slowly grind him to death, but he never thought that he, the big demon, was in this guy's ring. He also said, "I will teach you a set of cultivation and refining methods. After mastering it, you can devour this demonic energy." After Yi Chen accepted a burst of spiritual inheritance, he frowned slightly and said, "Teacher, this technique is a bit like magic." that the demon in the ring sneered in his heart. This must be a magic skill. Is there any need to hesitate? On the surface, he said calmly, the teacher has no choice. You are now in this state. If you don't practice this method, you will die soon. But don't worry that the teacher was able to kill the master behind this magic skill. Give you some time and you will definitely resolve this hidden danger. Yinxu nodded reluctantly, believed in the teacher, started to practice this set of skills, the cultivation level improved by leaps and bounds. That the old man in the ring gradually became weird. He said it casually, but he didn't expect that there was another kind of true energy surging in this kid's body, which was resolving the defects of the magic skill. He was surprised and doubtful and said, this kid is really lucky. Even in this situation, he can turn danger into fortune and get another kind of harvest. Compared to Yinxu, Jiang Chen was much smoother. In the life simulation, he clearly knew that Yinxu had obtained a heaven-defying fortune here. He didn't waste any effort all the way. As he stepped into the mysterious little secret realm in Yinxu, he successfully found 3 things. The Great Phoenix Sutra. The Sword of the Nation. The mysterious inheritance. Jiang Chen accepted the first 2, but did not open the third one, preparing to give it to his master, thanking his teacher for the gift. After memorizing the contents of the Great Phoenix Sutra, he opened his closed eyes. Little did he know that above Jiang Chen's head, there was originally purple luck, with a faint shadow of a dark lotus, and now the dark lotus was gradually concentrating, and it took almost a few breaths for the dark lotus to condense into substance. Pang pang. Luck was promoted, dark lotus level. Chapter 56. The End of Yinxu. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Luck changes, mysterious yet mysterious. Jiang Chen only felt that for a moment. He felt blessed and had an indescribable feeling in his heart. His mind suddenly became enlightened, and he felt that the haze in his heart was thinned away, and the corners of his mouth turned up into a smile. Reach out and make a move. Great Phoenix Sutra. Guozhen Sword. Mysterious Heritage. All 3 items were in hand. Call out. As he took steps, the figure disappeared from this world and returned to the original world. Junior brother Lu and the others who were guarding outside never left. Brother. Senior brother Jiang. Big brother. Several people spoke one after another, their eyes full of passion and excitement. Junior brother Lu was obviously stunned when he saw Jiang Chen. For a brief moment, he felt that something was different about senior brother Jiang. He really wanted to elaborate but couldn't explain. It's this kind of strange feeling that makes me a die-hard fan, and said excitedly, congratulations, senior brother, for taking the next step. Jiang Chen nodded lightly, and his eyes were very kind when he looked at a few people. These people were all his die-hard loyalists. They passed all the way towards the edge of the Yin dynasty, even if they met the venerable level, or even the human emperor level. The inheritance has not wavered, and when I came here, I just stayed outside, which shows the degree of loyalty, and he is not a solitary person. In the small secret realm, there are not only the Great Phoenix Sutra and the Zhenghua Sword, but also other secret treasures. Now he waved it out without hesitation and said, this belongs to you. Human Emperor level scripture. Hiss. This is the venerable magic weapon. And this secret treasure suits me so well. Seeing the heartfelt smiles of several people, Jiang Chen also smiled and said, these are nothing. There will be better things for you when your cultivation level improves. Now that you can't control it, I'll keep it for you. Thank you, senior brother. Junior brother Lu led the group and saluted heavily, and then said, senior brother, something big happened in Yinxu while you were away just now. A fierce battle broke out in the imperial city, and then one after another the flowing light breaks through the void and returns to the original world. Jiang Chen pondered slightly. He knew this. According to the life simulation, the Yin dynasty hid a big devil. Not only that, his cousin Jiang Ju also met Yinxu here, and they had an irreversible friendship. Colluding step by step, it seems that after his death, this guy will take his place. The corners of his mouth were slightly raised, and he laughed at himself. I wonder if Yinxu, who was robbed of the opportunity by me, has met Jiang Ju. But it didn't matter anymore. As his fate had already changed as he became a disciple of Elder Chu, he said calmly, let's go too. The greatest opportunity has been obtained, no need to linger any longer. Outside, Elder Wang he sat worriedly on the board of the boat. Looking down with anxiety, he whispered, Master Xiao, why don't we retreat first? That just now, the sect masters of the 6 holy lands walked out of Yin ruins in Xianxia. Everyone was seriously injured. Not only them, but also the leaders of other forces were shocked. The 6 holy lands in the eastern region already represented the strongest combat power, but they were all in Yin ruins. If you encounter trauma in life, you can imagine the dangers contained in it. Even if the reason was found out later, these top forces were still scared to death. Even the sect masters at the peak of the human emperor fled. What else did they expect? And they fled quickly one by one. In a blink of an eye, the place in front of the Yin ruins was empty, compared with the previous bustle and excitement, with all the forces focusing their attention. Now it is as deserted as it is. Hold on, Xiao Rongyu just finished speaking, several figures flew out from below. It was Jiang Chen and his group. Walk, Elder Wang he looked happy, rolled several people into the flying boat, and quickly drove away from this place, viewing this place as an ominous place. In fact, as they left, this area became empty and turned into a human world. The Pure Land is like a forbidden place, unguarded but no one dares to enter. Donglin sect. Call, as the flying boat entered the sect, Elder Wang he on the flying boat let out a long sigh. Even a human king realm cultivator had a few drops of sweat on his forehead, which showed how nervous he was. At this time, he completely relaxed and said with a smile, Headmaster Xiao, we're here. A weak voice came from inside the flying boat. At first, Elder Wang he was still a little confused, but when Xiao Rongyu walked out, his expression suddenly changed and he exclaimed, Master, you. Xiao Rongyu's green hair turned to white hair, and her vitality was passing away at a speed visible to the naked eye. Even if her appearance was still youthful at this moment, she would have to pay a huge price to restore it. Don't make any noise, Xiao Rongyu said weakly, but soon, Elder Jiang, Elder Wang arrived anyway, especially the latter, who was responsible for suppressing the forbidden area of Donglin sect. When Elder Wang he called him, he was still confused. What could make him come forward? But when he actually came to the leader's practice place, his expression suddenly changed and he said angrily, Master Xiao, who hurt you like this? That a steady flow of life essence but gradually weakening body, it was obvious that he had suffered an unprecedented blow. Lu Nantian. Qin Yu. Elder Zhang's pupils were filled with anger, and he whispered, these 2 sects are really too much. Are you really not afraid that the saint of Donglin sect will resurrect from death and go to their sect? It's not them. Xiao Rongyu said weakly. Elder Wang he finally knew the cause and effect, and after explaining it, the practice fell into a brief silence. Who would have thought that there was a demon hidden in the Yin ruins, the Green Bull Demon King who was powerless even to the saints back then? My life is about to end, and my only worry now is Donglin sect. The 3 of you will discuss who will take charge of Donglin sect next and become the new head. Xiao Rongyu said weakly. What nonsense are you talking about? My Donglin sect heritage is still there. I also know a holy medicine. I'll get this for you. That the eyes of Elder Wang who suppressed the forbidden area were red. He watched helplessly as the innocent little girl worshipped the Donglin sect and walked step by step to where she is now. She spent her whole life cautiously and silently devoted herself to the Donglin sect. If her master had not left early, with her talent and dedicated immersion in practice, her achievements will be even higher than now. Now that Donglin sect is facing such a disaster, how can we turn a blind eye? Useless, Xiao Rongyu squeezed out a weak smile. She knew her physique better than anyone else. She was accepted as a disciple by the previous head of Donglin sect because she was in the phoenix body, but she also hid huge hidden dangers that were difficult to awaken, even if she practiced. After reaching the human emperor realm, her physique was still unawakened, but she could still cast forbidden spells and barely revive her phoenix body. it's just that every awakening requires burning essence and blood and paying a price. The longer it lasts, the more serious the damage. Then in the Yin ruins, the Green Bull Demon Lord took the initiative to attack her, wanting to get rid of the person who was the greatest threat, leading to crazy burning. Essence and blood are now powerless. Holy medicine is useless, saints are useless. Chapter 57 Drops of Life. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Elder Wang He, Elder Jiang, Elder Wang who suppressed the forbidden area, all three of them had red eyes. The dying vitality in Xiao Rongyu's body made them realize something. Their hearts trembled and they said, "I'll go ask the saint for help. I don't believe he can't help it." Elder Wang, no need. Xiao Rongyu said palely. She had met the saint back then, and the reply she received was that it was forbidden to use it before her body recovered. If she was forced to recover, she could take a short rest within 30 breaths, and a cup of tea. Holy medicine is needed to make up for the foundation, and more than 2 cups of tea are useless, and the forbidden technique she revived in the Yin ruins lasted for more than 30 breaths, and lasted nearly an hour. Such a long time had already exhausted her life energy. Even if the saint came in person, it would be useless, not to mention that her own saint was still in such a weak state. If you perish. What should Donglin sect do? Elder Wang he said sadly that he had never thought that Xiao Rongyu's position in Donglin sect was so important without knowing it. That little girl who usually only practiced in the head's place had turned out to be silently holding up the sky. Cough. Pft. You go first, Xiao Rongyu said weakly. The three of them were moved, as a human emperor, still powerless. When they arrived outside the master's practice area, the three people's eyes dimmed. They never thought that a trip to Yin ruins would lead to such a disaster. Zhenwu sect and Xiandao sect did not dare to attack them, but the Green Bull Demon Lord appeared instead. Choose a leader, Elder Wang he said complexly. Who to choose? Who can take on this responsibility? Elder Wang. Only a few people looked at each other. Elder Wang, who suppressed the forbidden area, shook his head slightly. He was responsible for suppressing the forbidden area. It was already the limit for him to easily enter the sect hall. If he was the leader of the forbidden area, there would definitely be problems. Elder Jiang. Elder Jiang himself shook his head. He knew that his identity was not only the elder of the Donglin sect, but also the elder of the Jiang clan. This identity was not suitable for being the leader of the Donglin Holy Land. Wang He shook his head repeatedly. His cultivation level was weak, and he only had the 3rd level of human emperor. This cultivation level was more than enough to serve as the leader of the top forces in the eastern region, but it was not enough in the eastern Holy Land, especially at this critical moment of life and death. Who to choose? Elder Chu. Invariably, a name emerged in their minds. If Elder Chu was allowed to take charge of everything, it would be more than enough. He would have time to manage the sect, and there would be no sensitive issues of identity, and there would be no need to worry about cultivation. He would be completely qualified for the position of leader. Elder Wang, who suppressed the forbidden area, sighed again. Elder Chu likes to be quiet and does not like to understand the complicated and trivial affairs of the sect. He may not like the position of head. How about this? Elder Jiang pondered and then said, the position of leader is temporarily vacant. The three of us will work together to take charge of the Donglin sect. We will deal with small matters. If we encounter big issues, please ask Elder Chu for advice. Good. Good. This proposal was recognized by the two of them. As the restless atmosphere inside calmed down a little, the three of them walked in again. They saw Xiao Rongyu's white hair withered and serious loss of life essence, even if Xiao Rongyu tried his best to maintain it. You can still see the crow's feet at the corners of your eyes, which makes a few people feel distressed. Elder Wang he explained the discussion just now. Xiao Rongyu nodded in approval. Then we say goodbye. Slow. Don't tell Elder Chu about this, I don't want to see him. Xiao Rongyu's eyes were dim. He looked at the white hair hanging down on his shoulders and felt hurt in his heart. He didn't want this face to be seen by him. Elder Wang, he gave a complex sigh. What a bad fate. They had known that Xiao Rongyu was in love with Elder Chu, but Luohua deliberately acted ruthlessly, and they couldn't interfere in the fate of the people. And this part of the scripture was obtained from the Yin ruins. Give it to him for me. Xiao Rongyu handed over a void ring, which contained the biggest gain of her trip. Elder Wang, he tied the ring as if suffocating. After a while, Elder Wang, he came to the 8th floor of the Sutra Pavilion. Even though Master Xiao had told him that he did not want to see Chu Xun, why did Elder Chu not know the whole story of what happened when such a big thing happened? Listening to Elder Wang He's explanation, Chu Xun frowned slightly at first. As he expected, he had a talisman of his own. Even if he couldn't deal with the Green Bull Demon Lord, Jiang Chen's great luck was enough to bring Xiao Rongyu with him. After saving the day, he never expected that he would still be in an accident and suffer such serious injuries, but after hearing the reason for a while, he couldn't help but sigh. It's fate. Who would have thought that Yi Chen would provoke Jiang Chen at that point, let alone give him the talisman to protect Master Xiao? Paper was used from the beginning. I know this. Put down your books. Chu Xun stood in front of the window for a moment, then walked towards the master's practice place. If he was really powerless, that would be fine, but now there was a drop of life water in his hand, which was enough to give life to human flesh and bones, so why would he still watch helplessly? A moment of effort. The master's training place. Xiao Rongyu seemed to have been seriously injured, and also seemed to have arranged his funeral. He no longer had any worries in his heart. He closed his eyes in a hazy state, not even aware of Chu Xun's arrival. He kept wandering in coma and sleepiness, murmuring in his sleep. Muttering, "Scripture, scripture." Chu Xun sighed quietly, his eyes showing complexity, and said, "I have received the scripture." Xiao Rongyu's breathing gradually stabilized, let go of the most persistent thoughts. "Here you go." Chu Xun did not hesitate at this time. Even if the life drop was invaluable, how could Xiao Rongyu owe him such treatment? Besides, apart from her status, she was still an innocent little girl. Pop. A drop of life drop, wrapped in spiritual energy, was sent to Xiao Rongyu's lips. In an instant, a strong vitality enveloped her, soothed her pain, and her frowning brows were also stretched, strands of white hair were also turning into black hair, and the crow's feet between the eyebrows were also receding. The slightly dry skin was radiating color again, white, smooth and tender, and the red lips were also bright, even if she still closed her eyes, but the vitality was bursting out. "It's fine." Chu Xun nodded with satisfaction and was about to leave. Boom. Abruptly, a stronger breath burst out from Xiao Rongyu's body, hot, domineering, like a wave of fire, more like a phoenix nirvana. This made Chu Xun pause, showing surprise, watching the rich vitality transform into willow branches that wrapped her up. The fiery heat shone with the luster of a phoenix, and it was as if a dormant phoenix in her body was slowly reviving. Physique, awakened. Chu Xun was surprised. "I didn't expect to have such a harvest." As for Xiao Rongyu, she also woke up from her coma. In the dim light, she saw a figure standing there quietly. She wanted to open her eyes to take a closer look, but the overbearing revival directly impacted her skeleton and almost broke. A muffled groan just came, and the rich vitality healed the injuries in her body, and so on, over and over again. Her breath gradually became terrifying, the cultivation level on her body also increased rapidly. The 6th realm of the human emperor, the 7th realm of the human emperor, the 8th realm of the human emperor. It was not the kind of explosion that relied on forbidden techniques, but a long stay in this realm. Chapter 58 Arrogant Jiang Chen. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boom. 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 Such changes, naturally, it attracted the attention of several elders, Elder Wang He, Elder Jiang, Elder Wang who suppressed the forbidden area. The three of them turned into streams of light and flashed here almost instantly, standing side by side with Chu Xun. Looking at Xiao Rongyu, who was sleeping peacefully but with waves constantly erupting in his body, they all said in surprise, "Physical recovery. Nirvana and rebirth. Phoenix Nirvana. Ha 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 ha. God will not destroy my Donglin sect." Several people showed expressions of ecstasy. They never expected such an ending. Xiao Rongyu, who was seriously injured, was reborn from nirvana and resurrected his phoenix divine body unexpectedly at the moment of death. Elder Wang he looked at Chu Xun with some surprise and uncertainty. Xiao Rongyu was still on the verge of death. Elder Chu had just come to head Xiao. He wouldn't believe it if he said it wasn't strange. Master is lucky. Chu Xun smiled. God bless my Donglin sect. Elder Jiang and Elder Wang, who suppressed the forbidden area, did not think about Chu Xun at all. After all, Master Zhao's physical condition was something that even a saint could not do. How could Elder Chu solve it? Nirvana lasts longer. Several people were also waiting quietly. Elder Wang, who suppressed the forbidden area, had a face full of joy and said, "The leader has been reborn in nirvana and awakened his physique. From now on, the Donglin sect can be considered as firmly established in the Holy Land." Elder Jiang also nodded. They did have this level of worry earlier. The saint of Donglin sect was about to die, but no strong man had come forward yet. Although he had high hopes for Elder Chu, the time was still too short. Now Xiao Rongyu's recovered physique was enough to survive the difficult years until Chu Xun's rise. It would be great if I could give the leader another skill. I heard that the Great Phoenix Sutra of the Yin dynasty is very suitable. Pity. This scripture has disappeared. Even the leader has not been found. The effort of conversation, a disciple approached outside. Ha! Jiang Chen. What is he doing here? Elder Wang he was surprised. Although there was a lot of movement here just now, after they arrived, they blocked the breath and movement, making it impossible for outsiders to detect it. Whoosh! A ray of light enveloped the latter in. Jiang Chen pays homage to Master. Originally, Jiang Chen came here to ask for an audience with Master Xiao, but when he came here, he saw the teacher standing peacefully beside him. He couldn't help but be stunned. In his knowledge, the teacher rarely came out of hiding. Jinga, why are you so free today? I looked around and saw a few elders, and I couldn't help but respectfully said, "Greetings to these uncles and uncles." "What are you doing here?" Chu asked. "I gained something in the Yin ruins." Jiang Chenfeng had a warm smile on his jade-like face, gently flicking his sleeves, and a secret book hung safely in the air. Great Phoenix Sutra. Great Phoenix Sutra. Great Phoenix Sutra. Several elders were dumbfounded and looked at this scripture in disbelief. You must know that head Xiao and the sect masters of the 6 holy places searched for it but couldn't find it. How could they have expected that it would fall into the hands of this junior? Let me see. Is it real? Yes. It's really the Great Phoenix Sutra. Scriptures of the Yin dynasty. Feeling the expressions of surprise and joy, Jiang Chen couldn't help but raise his chin slightly, and his arrogant posture was clearly visible, but few people didn't care, and instead smiled even more. Good. Good. Okay. Jiang Chen, you have really made a great contribution to the sect. Facing the excited elders of the human emperor realm, Jiang Chen's expression remained unchanged and Feng Qingyun said calmly, "This is just one of them. Is there more?" Elder Jiang, Elder Wang who suppressed the forbidden area, these 3 people are ready to make a move, and their expectant eyes are like looking at a peerless beauty who is about to be stripped naked, greedy and blazing, and full of expectation. Buzz! A bronze sword that had been covered in dust for a long time was taken out by Jiang Chen and hung in the air. Wisps of dragon energy lingered around the bronze sword, and the entire Donglin sect's luck suddenly fell downwards. Bang! Elder Wang his eyes widened. When they took out the Great Phoenix Sutra, they were already secretly happy and satisfied. Who would have thought that Jiang Chen would have a second good thing? Even though they had just been expecting and hoping, they didn't dare to look at it. It's the Zhenghua sword. Now that it's floating in front of my eyes, I'm almost dizzy with satisfaction. Guozhen sword. Zhenghua sword. It turns out to be the Zhenghua sword. Elder Jiang was also full of amazement, and couldn't help but say, this is a good thing. The dragon energy that has been contaminated by the Yin dynasty for hundreds of years has long been transformed into a peerless holy weapon, which has the effect of suppressing luck. Our Donglin sect can suppress it with this object. Luck can also be more prosperous. Elder Wang He also nodded with satisfaction. When the bronze sword was sacrificed, Donglin sect's luck was pressed down by 3 points and became more solid. It was obviously a good symbol, but after all, this thing belonged to Jiang Chen, so he couldn't take over it. That's great, right? If Jiang Chen were an ordinary disciple, he would just have to take it, and he would be rewarded slowly in the future. On the contrary, Jiang Chen has a special status. This thing is good for the Donglin sect, and it is also good for the Jiang family. He can't help but ask seriously, this thing extraordinary, are you sure you want to contribute to the sect? Jiang Chen looked at Elder Chu proudly, with a bright smile on his face, and nodded heavily. Good. 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 Elder Wang, who suppressed the forbidden area, no longer hesitated and laughed heartily. Jiang Chen, you have made great contributions to the sect this time. You will be canonized as the holy son of Donglin sect soon. Elder Wang He, Elder Jiang, even Chu Xun looked sideways. The holy son indicates the successor of the next sect master. Donglin sect did not usually appoint a holy son. First, there was a huge mountain like Jiang Chen that outsiders could not cross. Second, Jiang Chen's special status did not necessarily mean that he had to take over Donglin sect. Third, although Jiang Chen had not been canonized, it was a tacit understanding that both the sect and the outside world regarded him as the holy son, and now, this sentence is equivalent to giving a promise. Officially announced Jiang Chen's status as the holy son, there are two choices in the future: either inherit Donglin sect, or inherit Jiang's family. Let Jiang Chen choose. This is impossible under normal circumstances. The leader of Donglin sect must be a person of good family background, otherwise he will be biased towards his family. But now this worry is completely dispelled. Master, Jiang Chen looked at the ordinary old man with admiration in his heart, knowing that if it weren't for him, he would not have made such a big gain. Yes, Chu Xun nodded gently, it was considered as tacit consent. He was also a little curious, the remains of the Yin dynasty, this kind of cave should have the biggest gain from the destiny protagonist, but now it all falls on the disciple. It seems that Yi Chen can't suppress the disciple's luck. He couldn't help but open his eyes and look. Name, Jiang Chen. Age, 28. Cultivation, Venerable Fifth Realm. Luck, Youlian, Destiny Villain. This change surprised Chu Xun. You know, it was deep purple before, and a trip to the Yin dynasty actually produced a drastic change in luck, which means that Jiang Chen should have other gains. He couldn't help but look meaningfully. Chapter 59 Snow Mountain Palace. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Jiang Chen smiled honestly and kindly and said, I know I can't hide anything from the teacher. Elder Wang He, Elder Jiang, Elder Wang who suppressed the forbidden area, he couldn't help but trembled. Is there more? Buzz, a palm-sized bronze tripod was taken out. It was stained with rust and engraved with the traces of time. The ancient scenes imprinted on it included wild men from ancient times, auspicious signs such as dragons and phoenixes, and ferocious beasts such as and other ferocious beasts, which seem to be all things. Tripod. This is, Elder Wang He, with a shaggy beard, stared at the bronze tripod. The ancient aura coming from it proved that this object was very ancient. At least it was much older than the Yin dynasty. He couldn't help but think of something. Elder Jiang was also breathing rapidly and stared at it, saying, could it be that this is the culprit for the downfall of the Yin dynasty, something that attracts the covetousness of the supreme powers from the outside world? Jiang Chen nodded, it's an admission, boom. This set off a strong storm in the hearts of several people. Obtaining the Great Phoenix Sutra was already an unexpected joy. As for the Zhenghua sword, they almost fainted with excitement. Now that such a mysterious inheritance appeared, they were all dizzy. Not good. This thing may not be a source of blessing. Elder Jiang calmed down while being excited. In the past, even the Yin dynasty, which was as powerful as the Yin dynasty, could not defend such a thing. Now that the saints of Donglin sect are facing the situation of being reborn, how can they defend this thing? Now that we have it, we can naturally hold it. Chu Xun said lightly, his words filled with confidence. No one knew that the bronze tripod had fallen into their hands. As long as they were given a period of time, there was no need to be afraid even of great powers from the outside world. Jiang Chen showed a bright smile, offered it with both hands, and said, "Master, this is my disciple's filial piety to you." Ding! Please host choose. 1. Accept the disciple's gift of filial piety and get an additional sacred weapon. 2. Refuse the disciple's gift and get 10 times the reward. Incident: if you accept gifts from disciples and deprive them of this opportunity, your luck will drop to the deep purple level again. Seeing this option, there is definitely no need to think about it. How can the mysterious inheritance of disciples' filial piety be worth more than a sacred weapon? He can still distinguish which is more important. Moreover, after accepting the gift, the disciple's luck will also depend on it. The loss was somewhat outweighed by the loss. In addition, he was still a kind and good master. He couldn't help but shake his head and refuse. Elder Wang He, Elder Jiang, Elder Wang who suppressed the forbidden area, Xiao Rongyu, who had regained his consciousness, was trembling wildly. He could see how extraordinary such a thing was, but Elder Chu was unmoved. Master, Jiang Chen was still about to speak. Chu Xun shook his head and said, "Whatever belongs to you is yours. Even if this thing falls into my hands, it may not be useful. If you don't believe me, open it and take a look." Boom! Jiang Chen opened the lid on the bronze tripod, and as soon as a crack was revealed, a burst of divine energy surged up into the sky, and a huge stream of energy shot out, trying to penetrate the sky and attract strange phenomena. Jiang Chen was even more shocked. Buzz buzz! The bronze cauldron trembled and was about to fly away. Suppression! Chu Xun stretched out his palm and clasped it. His body's cultivation was also exploding. The 6 realms of the human emperor, the 7 realms of the human emperor, the 8 realms of the human emperor. When it reached the peak, it was suppressed by force to cover up the strange image of the bronze tripod. Hiss! Jiang Chen took in a breath of cold air. He never thought that he would be so powerful just by opening a hole. At the same time, he was glad that it was under the nose of the teacher in the Donglin sect. Otherwise, it would have been known to the whole world, and he couldn't help but feel confused. "I'm confused, why didn't Yi Chen make any noise when he obtained the bronze tripod in the original trajectory? What a powerful wave!" Elder Wang exclaimed, but gradually, he seemed to realize something, and he stared at Chu Xun with astonishment on his face, and exclaimed, "Elder Chu, what is your cultivation level?" It's not just him, the other people also looked, all dull. It looks like a wood carving. Human Emperor, 8 realms, Xiao Rongyu, who was gradually suffering from the violent aura and was about to revive, was completely stunned. It was clear that Chu Xun was still in the 5th realm of the human emperor a few months ago. How long had it passed before he was in the 8th realm of the human emperor? Elder Wang, who was guarding the forbidden area, had a confused look on his face. He had practiced cultivation for 300 years and was quite satisfied after finally entering the 8th realm of the human emperor in his wasted life. But looking at Chu Xun's cultivation, when had it been so easy to break through to the human emperor realm? It seems that a year ago, Elder Chu just recovered and resolved the knot in his heart. However, how long has passed now? His cultivation level continues to soar. Will he become a saint next time we meet? Facing the astonished looks of several people, Chu Xuanfeng said lightly, "Some small fortune." Oh, several people were silent, but suffered heavy blows. Elder Wang He, Elder Jiang, these 2 people, who had spent half their lives in the human emperor realm, felt that the critical attack was so great for the first time that they twisted their necks forcibly and refused to look at Chu Xun. This guy was murderous and heart-wrenching. Buzz! At the same time, Jiang Chen also carried a memory. As he slowly opened his eyes, he also showed complexity and said, "The teacher is right. This bronze tripod contains an inheritance. It is the legacy of an extinct ancient Taoism. It can be passed down. But there are also many shackles. One of them is not acceptable to the master. Rebuilding the sect, choosing to inherit this inheritance means becoming its disciple, and he will not hesitate to restore his former glory. This alone can dispel the idea of the master. Oh, Elder Jiang showed relief. It turned out that this thing was the remnant of an ancient Taoist tradition. No wonder it attracted the covetousness of outside powers. This kind of inheritance is indeed worth snatching by the ancient forces. Do I want to inherit? Jiang Chen asked. Nature, that the Holy Land in the east is turbulent, the same goes for the outside world, eastern region, in a remote area, there is a sect that relies on snow-capped mountains. It is freezing cold all year round. Ordinary people cannot survive here. However, this place has also become a holy land for those who refine their bodies. Relying on the cold weather of the snow-capped mountains, they can temper their bodies without restraint. As long as you are tyrannical to a certain extent, you can still dominate the eastern region. Although this power is called the Snow Mountain Palace, it is not as famous as the 6 holy places in the east region, but it is still one of the few. The master of the Snow Mountain Palace is a person in the 8th realm of the human emperor. At the moment, the master of the Snow Mountain Palace frowned. He was currently practicing and felt heart palpitations, as if a doomsday disaster was coming, which made him walk out of the hall in confusion. Enter the eye, then he saw a young disciple wearing the robe of a disciple of the Donglin sect, standing in the air, with the corners of his mouth slightly raised, and his eyes full of evil spirits, staring at the master of the Snow Mountain Palace and the disciples who were exercising, showing greed, keep swallowing, galong, galong. What a beautiful and strong cultivator. This handsome disciple stared at the master of the Snow Mountain Palace with greedy eyes and said excitedly, such a strong blood, if it is swallowed, it will quickly restore the cultivation level. If there are many people in the eastern region, just some physical training like this would be great. Demons. The master of Snow Mountain Palace's pupils shrank, my mind suddenly trembled. Did you just know? Late, that this handsome young man was filled with demonic aura. The master of the Snow Mountain Palace was powerless to resist the invasion, and the disciples who were still working hard to train their bodies all raised their heads in fear, feeling that their energy and blood were rapidly dissipating. Buzz, that there is a red phantom cauldron suspended in mid-air, devouring energy and blood crazily. It's a pity, I don't know where my magic cauldron has gone, so I can only use the red cauldron phantom method. However, looking at the rapidly gathering rich energy and blood, the handsome young man grinned with a strange smile and said, this energy and blood is enough for me, the Green Bull Demon Lord, to reshape my body. Chapter 60 The Saint Appears. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Something big happened. Oh no. Something bad is going to happen. That the elder of the Donglin sect intelligence department quickly came to the master's practice place and said nervously, Master, the Snow Mountain Palace was destroyed and the eastern region was shaken. Do we want to send someone to take a look? What? Elder Wang He, who was still at the master's practice place, suddenly widened his eyes and said, how is it possible? Snow Mountain Palace is a force second only to the 6 holy places, and it is still in the body-refining lineage, which is unique in the eastern region. It is also located in a remote area and rarely provokes strong enemies. How could the sect be destroyed? Absolutely true. Leave no chickens or dogs behind. The Snow Mountain Palace is already empty. Hiss. Elder Zhang's scalp was also numb, and he suddenly thought of a demon, the Green Bull Demon Lord, who escaped from the Yin ruins. There was strong fear in his eyes. He had predicted that chaos in the eastern region might happen, but he didn't expect it to come so quickly. Are we going to have people? Immortal sect, Jin Wuzong, goddess sect, there are strong men rushing to the past. Go. Chu Xun said in a deep voice that the destruction of the Snow Mountain Palace was a major event that could shock the eastern region. The Donglin sect could not be absent at this time. He also knew that the only one the Donglin sect could spare now was himself, and said, I will go by myself. Elder Wang he had worries in his eyes and said, otherwise, our Donglin sect won't join in the fun. The Snow Mountain Palace has been destroyed. It's already too late to go and there's nothing we can do. It doesn't matter. Go and confirm something, Chu asked. Snow Mountain Palace, the north wind howls. Snowflakes are falling, but in the sky above this place stood one strong man after another. They stood with their hands behind their hands, silently overlooking the palace below, feeling lost and in danger. Snow Mountain Palace, it's really over. The eyes of the palace master of Xianwang Palace were filled with sadness. After all, he and the palace master of Snow Mountain Palace were old enemies. They didn't deal with each other and were not friends. However, they also respected the integrity of the palace master of Snow Mountain Palace. But now this old friend is gone. He is sad and depressed. The Green Bull Demon Lord has really reappeared in the world. The leader of the Fuyue sect also looked gloomy, with a trace of fear in his eyes. His power was almost the same as that of the Snow Mountain Palace. They were both powers second only to the 6 Holy Lands. There is no saint sitting inside the gate, and I am worried that I will follow in the footsteps of the Snow Mountain Palace. Swish swish swish. One after another, multiple figures arrived. These are the top forces in the Eastern Territory. Although they are not as good as the 6 holy places, they still control one area and protect an area like the Snow Mountain Palace. Now the lessons learned from the Snow Mountain Palace make them smell the crisis. Even those who are not familiar with the demon cult, the people who are interested, are now frightened. Call out, amidst the tension, a figure suddenly arrived. Boom, the leader of the Zhenwu sect, Lu Nantian, the leader of the Immortal Dao sect, Qin Yu, the leader of the Xinqing sect, Dana, the master of the Goddess Palace, Chu Yaoyao, the master of Tianji Palace, Xiao Wuchang. In the blink of an eye, the 6 holy lands arrived one after another, calming the panic in the crowd. Their eyes were full of desire and hope, as if they had found the backbone, hoping that the 6 holy lands would make a decision at this time. Bo. Next breath, Donglin sect Chu Xun also walked out of nothingness. Seeing the latter, the various forces had different reactions. Some were surprised and some were secretly happy. As for Xiao Rongyu, they didn't care about it. Chu Xun's cultivation was even more. He is taller and has more say, and his decision is no less important than that of head Xiao. Chu Xun frowned, and the cold wind howled. At his level, the cold and heat had long been immune to the invasion, but here he felt bursts of cold, not from the weather, but from the cold air that destroyed the Snow Mountain Palace. It was biting and cold, a great sect, 3 human emperors, dozens of venerables, princes. There are countless Dharma realms. Seeing that such a huge sect was wiped out from the eastern region overnight, the master of the Snow Mountain Palace was killed before he could rescue him, and there were still traces of blood in the sky. It's him. That's right. Chu Xun narrowed his eyes slightly. He came this time to confirm whether it was the Green Bull Demon Lord. Now he was sure that he had seen the red small cauldron in Tianyun Kingdom, and the remaining aura was exactly the same as the one in the sky. Several other Holy Land sect masters also clearly had a way of distinguishing themselves. They all recognized the latter with their pupils constricted and said, "It is definitely the Green Bull Demon Lord." The leader of the Fuyue sect said, "The 6 Holy Lands have been in charge of the eastern region for many years. Now the demon cult has resurfaced. Please discuss countermeasures and fight against it together. Discuss it together." The leader of Zhenwu sect, the leader of the Immortal sect, the leader of the Goddess sect. These people stood quietly in the air. They wanted to laugh when they heard this. They also wanted to fight together, but with this strength, in the Yin ruins, the Green Bull Demon Lord had been suppressed for hundreds of years. Even if he had just recovered, he was extremely weak. It can also challenge the 8 human emperors to their peak. Now the Green Bull Demon Lord has sacrificed countless lives with blood. If he faces him again, he has no choice but to die. These things are beyond our control. Lu Nantian said coldly, the master of the Xianwang Palace, the leader of Fuyue sect. There are other top forces. Hearing this made me feel chilled. If the 6 holy lands don't care, if the Green Bull Demon Lord sacrifices his blood to the Snow King Palace today and dares to sacrifice their blood to them tomorrow, he can't help but say angrily, if we are all blood sacrificed by the Green Bull Demon Lord, I'm afraid you won't be able to escape by then. That the leader of the Tianji sect also glanced at the latter and said calmly, what's the hurry? The Green Bull Demon Lord has his opponent, we only need to take care of ourselves. What do you mean? Several people were confused, but suddenly they saw and felt the overwhelming pressure. Time, space, and nothingness solidified. All the people present were in the human emperor realm, and most of them were above the 7th human emperor realm. But now they all felt the suffocating pressure. They all stared at the nothingness in horror. They saw an old man holding the heavenly secret plate slowly approaching. Saint! Saint! That even Chu Xun's pupils shrank slightly, the saint of the eastern region, first appearance. Senior! Senior! Accompanied by the salute of the head of the heavenly secret sect, the helmsmen of the top forces all woke up from their dreams, with both horror and surprise, and bowed down to salute. That the old man holding the heavenly secret plate nodded gently to everyone. He stepped forward and came to the sky above the Snow Mountain Palace. He threw the heavenly secret plate in his hand away, hung it in the sky, and pressed down, as if the sky was overturning. Only then did people see the texture of the Tianji disc. The front was engraved with the innate 8 trigrams and the 24 weather patterns, and the back was engraved with the sun, moon, stars, mountains, rivers and Hezi. It was all-encompassing and contained the nature of heaven and earth. The remaining blood and qi on the top sank into the Tianji disc, causing the pointer on the front to spin wildly, and soon it was fixed in one direction. Everyone, it's time to act. The saint of the Tianji sect spoke in a gentle tone, but there were several rainbow lights flashing around, running wildly in the direction indicated by the Tianji disc. Shua shua shua, that the master of the Xianwang Palace, the master of the Fuyue sect, the helmsmen of these top forces were horrified, and they could not feel that there were saints sitting in the void around them, and they even arrived one step earlier than them. Now, with the guidance given by the saints of the Tianji sect, these saints rushed over almost instantly.